You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
What's up? What's up? What's up? You are listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast review of Deadpool and Wolverine. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Let's fucking go. Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. Is that a spoiler?
I don't think so.
We hope you have seen this Marvel movie. We all just saw it very, very recently. It's fresh on our minds.
I know I turn everything into a joke, but I care. Or I want to use that for something important. I waited a long time for this team up. In my world, you're well regarded. You were an X-Man. Fuck that, you were the X-Man. The Wolverine. He's a hero in my world.
Yeah, well, he ain't shit in mine. Scott used to beg me to wear this suit. So did Storm and Beast. But I couldn't have him thinking I wanted to be there. It was too late.
It's only 9 people, but my entire world is right here in this picture. And I have no idea how to save it alone, but you know how to save them.
Whoever you think I am, you got the wrong guy.
You were always the wrong guy. Till you weren't.
Are you ready? Fuck yeah, I'm ready. I'm the Wolverine. Stop it.
So we're not going to spoil the major spoilers right here at the top. So even if you haven't seen it, you might be able to listen to a little bit, but we'll warn you before we get into the gritty details. So, yeah, Deadpool's back. Wolverine's back. Marvel is back, you guys. This is the only MCU film this year. This is the first time since 2012 where there was only one. So 2012, we got the Avengers, and that was the only film that year. And ever since, we've had more than one MCU movie. This is the 34th film in the cinematic universe, the first to be rated R, and Hugh Jackman's 10th time in the role of Wolverine.
Wow.
10 times he's been Wolverine.
Well, I would start off by saying, what I noticed the most about this movie was he did not half-ass it. I feel, I mean, he played it straight, and he played it like emotional, and it was one big joke, the whole movie, and but not him. And I felt like that was what made it work.
And even like the
like
training
he
and
brought
stuff,
the stakes.
the physical side that he's famous for, he got bigger every time he came back for this role. Like he was in that costume. I'm like, oh, they can hide a little bit. He's got the big arms, but you can hide a little bit in that costume. You can have a little tummy or whatever. Nope. He was just as ripped as ever.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of a neat twist to it, because they make you think that the whole movie, and then nope, look, he's cut.
We're already into spoiler territory. What have we done?
That's what I'm saying. You brought it up.
We spoiled the abs.
Yeah,
Well,
I don't know how to
Right
talk
from the
about it
get-go,
without.
opening credits were great. Like the opening credits, I was smiling. I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. It's like they were doing, you know, just I don't. It was such a great idea to start off the movie with, and the NSYNC music and fight
Yeah.
and just the cleverness of that fight. And I was like, okay, I love every bit of this. It was perfect.
So I thought back. Do you guys remember before these movies existed, where that footage leaked? They had done like the animated tests for that scene where he's on the bridge and jumps down into the truck and kills everybody at the Salt and Pepper. And like Marvel was not making a Deadpool movie, or Fox was not making a Deadpool movie, and that footage dink leaked, and everyone thinks Ryan Reynolds was probably the one who leaked it. And like the fans went nuts of how perfect the costume looked, how funny it was, the quips that Ryan Reynolds was perfect as the wisecracker. So like I'm just thinking back to like the studio had to be tricked into making these movies.
Right.
And now it's like a blockbuster, cultural icon. Everyone knows who Deadpool is now, and it's like it almost didn't exist. That the studio was reluctant to even make these movies. It's a little crazy.
Well, they had made that shitty Wolverine movie, and that where he played Deadpool, and it was just terrible.
Yeah, they could have taken. Maybe they took the wrong lesson from that. Of like, well, nobody likes Deadpool.
Right. So yeah, how far we've come since then, but yeah, I mean, right off the bat, I was reminded that this is a Fox universe movie, not the MCU proper per se. And I think I had a general idea of how we were, they were going to get from the Fox universe to the MCU and incorporate that throughout the movie, which it was fine. It was, I loved the entire movie. I thought it was fun. I thought it was just Deadpool, but yeah, Wolverine took it to another level, from the past movies. I highly enjoyed it. And it to me is silly and breaking the fourth wall as Deadpool can be. It felt very authentic and of what it should be, at least to me. What I had in my mind, I guess. I'd watched the first two Deadpool movies not too long ago, and rewatched them both, and highly enjoyed them. I think it was when we were doing our list, ranking all the MCU movies, and then I was like, well, I'm gonna while I'm here, I'm gonna watch Deadpool and Deadpool 2, and ended up, I think, liking them a little bit more than the first time I'd seen them. So I was pretty hyped up for this. I went opening night, Thursday night. So I went to buy my tickets. They were at Regal Cinemas, our local theater, and most of the showings were almost full, and it was hard to find a seat that I was happy with that wasn't in the front row of some of those showings. So I ended up in the back row, and got kind of lucky. Didn't have anybody sitting on either side of me directly. I don't know how nobody filled that in, but anyways, pretty good experience. Everybody was pretty excited. The theater itself was packed, and you could just feel that everybody was really, excited about this movie coming out, and not like here to see it first so I can make fun of it and pick it apart and do all that not fun stuff we see online. So I was pretty happy with it. It made my experience better, that's for sure. I contemplated for a hot second of buying the little baby Regal Deadpool popcorn bucket, because apparently I have a thing for popcorn buckets now. And
You're keeping them in business, Cliff. That's what
I am.
They're trying anything.
So my point is, the ticket was like $16 and something. And I was like, why is the ticket so much? It's not 3D. It's just a regular showing. It's not even in the biggest theater. And I was like, it's almost $17 for one ticket. I can get the unlimited pass for $18 plus tax.
$18. I was gonna say, I've been riding high. I've been getting 2 seats and going alone. I literally went to Twister the other day.
Yeah.
Walked in, and this guy was sitting in one of my 2 seats, and I was like, "Hey, that's my seat." And he's like, looked at me, and I was like, "Let me check." I looked, and it was one of my 2 seats. I was like, "Yeah, that's mine." I was like, "Is that your seat? Do you have a ticket for it?" And he goes, "Oh, no." And they moved, and then I sat in the other seat, and nobody sat in that seat he was in the whole movie. It was so great because that was my
awesome.
seat too. So I had a seat on one side of me and a seat on the other side of me, and him and his 2 buddies had scooted down to get out of that seat, and then kept looking over at me the whole movie. And it was magnificent.
What a
Magnificent.
twist. What a twister.
Oh, it was great. I literally just stood there and made him get out of it and then sat in the other one. And then tonight we went to Deadpool, me and Nick, and we waited. We were sitting out in the hall because I was like, "Hey, there's previews for a half hour. I'm not going in there." So we waited till there was like 10 minutes left, till it was like 20 after 7. He's like, "You ready to go in?" I was like, "Yeah, they're fine. Most people are in there." I was like, I wanted to give them a lot of time because I'm hoping somebody's in our seats because people, there's always somebody. People never sit where they're supposed to, and sure enough, there was somebody in one of our seats, and I love it. I love kicking people out of my seat, but we actually sat in them once I made a move. People are just stupid.
I mean, on a Tuesday afternoon or whatever, who cares? But on a Friday night packed showing,
Right.
like, there's a reason you have assigned seats.
I want the first 2 seats that were bought and that were claimed in that theater were were my tickets. I'm always the first one, so because they're like the best seats in there. They're like, you're not going to be sitting in there. I love kicking people out of my seat. That's my new fucking kink. Like, kicking people out of my seat. And then not setting it is my preferred. That's how I finish.
So yeah, after that, so I now have the unlimited pass here in August, and so that's just great and wonderful. So
it is such they're so getting screwed. I mean, if you go, I just have extra seats to put my feet up. I'll use it and take somebody. I'll buy, because you've got your friend on there. I'll get a ticket for me and Nick, and then I'll go me and somebody else. And then the next day, Nick will take his girlfriend to that movie using my name. And it's like we got 4 people got to go on 2 movie passes that were just you're such a good deal.
And I know you didn't buy popcorn.
No, and they don't check anything there.
What are you doing?
They
with all
scan your thing.
You need to all these for going to.
You don't get points like that.
You don't.
Not
unless you buy. Okay, not with.
You got to buy stuff. Yeah.
Well, I ended up. Yeah, I went Thursday night after buying the unlimited pass, and because I was just like, this is just dumb for me not to buy it if I'm going to pay $16 anyways.
Oh yeah.
So. Then it had all my points from previously. And so I had enough points to get a free popcorn and a free drink. And I was like, it didn't cost me anything. I was like,
well, the thing is, they don't even care if you take drinks and stuff in there, like from outside. That place doesn't check any of that. I just walk in with whatever. They just scan my thing on my phone. Now it has your picture on there, so they can see that it's you. But they never pay. They're supposed to, if the other ticket is free also, they're supposed to be checking that person, but they don't pay attention whether there's a free one. They never ever do that. They just scan it. Those guys don't care. They just scan it and let you in. We're down here in Marietta when we had.
Why would they? Why would
that? It's like that's the way they should do it.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it used to be the Gestapo here in Marietta. They'd come in and take your water bottle out of the theater and stuff.
Yeah.
No, but this place is great. They're not making any money off of me, but it's awesome.
So that's how I ended up with the unlimited pass.
So that's my review. 5 stars.
Yeah.
So I was gonna go down to the same showing Cliff was. I was like, yeah, I'll leave work at 7 and get down there for the 7:20 showing or whatever, 7:50 showing. I was like, oh wait, it's 4 p.m. and there's no seats left. It's like, okay, never mind. So my brother, Coach Mayer, he got on Fandango and got the tickets early, and so I went with him and my nephew Xander. So we were in the second row, which isn't bad. I was worried about being that close to the screen, but it was fine. And then the people next to us had some very young children. I would say the youngest was about 7. The other one was probably 12 or so. So I wasn't sure about that, but hey, I'm not a parent, so do what you got to do. So yeah, I liked it. I also rewatched the first 2 Deadpool movies the week before and hadn't in a while. But I watched that first one. I was like, this is great. This is exactly what they should have done with Deadpool. And the second one, that was the first movie after I had pneumonia. It had just come out. I went to the theater like a week after I had pneumonia and was just miserable and didn't remember much at all about it. And I remember not even liking it that much. Cause like, I don't want to be here. So I was not enjoying it back in 2018 or whatever it was. I rewatched it this week. I'm like, this is also good. I'm enjoying this. I like how they do these. So my hopes were up. I didn't want them to be, but they were. And I thought it was pretty great. I mean, the story wise, like Cliff said about it being a Fox movie or whatever, that was my biggest worry, that it would be all about that. Mm-hmm. It would be like, we got to save the Fox multiverse or whatever. And it kind of was, but it was almost more of a metaphor. Like, they're pruning our timeline. They're getting rid of all of us. Like, it was very meta, but it wasn't explicitly so. He wasn't barging into Kevin Feige's office and demanding, whatever. So it's like, I was fine with that. I didn't want a movie, the TVA stuff and the multiverse stuff and the branches and like that. I wasn't excited for that, but I think.
Oh, that would have been a huge mistake.
Yeah. So I think they did as well as they could have. Again, the plot was not the main selling point here.
Yeah. Well, there is no the plot. Don't try to even make heads or tails of the plot. It doesn't make any sense. Nothing makes sense. What? It was fun. They sure posed for some good comic covers.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
It was pretty cool. It was a good movie. Well, let's go to spoilers because I literally can't talk about anything.
So was anybody spoiled for anything?
Yes.
I know
I mean, it was hard not to be on some level. You were going to hear something of some cameo, maybe not all of them, but
I know Daphne Keene had denied even being in it for the longest time, and then they released that trailer, the final trailer, like a week before that spoiled.
Which I didn't watch.
She was in it. I didn't watch it either.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard about it. I kept seeing, Daphne Keene.
Yeah, you work in a comic book store, and I don't, but I get irritated. You can't freaking say anything. If any, yes, I know. I'm not really complaining. If I really didn't want to get spoiled, once it premiered a couple nights before, I should have never been on Twitter. But it's like, I've curated who I follow, and so it annoys me when these people that I respect post stuff. It's like that's an obvious spoiler. It's why? And then and I don't even mind that much. When I saw the Daphne Keene thing, I was like, okay. And I heard it was in the trailer. I was like, okay, that's fine. If it was in the trailer, that's fair game. But then they put some picture of Channing Tatum and Ryan Reynolds from like a few years ago. Oh, they were playing this probably from back. I'm like, you suck. That was not in the trailer.
Yeah. That was the one thing I did not get spoiled on, thankfully.
Yeah, I got that's all. I didn't know about Blade. I didn't know about Elektra. I didn't know, about Most anything else, really.
So I feel like Jennifer Garner was announced a long time ago. That was kind of
Oh, I didn't.
yeah. I remember that being Jennifer Garner signed on. That was before there were anything ever even shown from it.
I feel like at some point, every actor that had ever been in any of those movies was rumored to be in this movie. So I kind of quit paying attention to that for the most part a long time ago, just because it was like, there's no way everybody can be in this movie.
Yeah. But this weekend is Comic-Con in San Diego, and apparently, I think it was Thursday night, they did a screening for the fans, and then afterwards they brought out all those people and did like a Q&A with them, which was making headlines everywhere on like the night it opened, Thursday night, the day before, it's supposed to be a Friday showing. But yeah, so basically the night before it opened, they had a huge Comic-Con panel that was making headlines everywhere. It's like, hey, Wesley Snipes is at Comic-Con. Oh, okay, I wonder why. But I luckily I missed that. So yeah, I was hyped. So was the Chris Evans reveal?
Oh, I did not know. That worked. That totally got me. Every bit of it. Every bit of it.
That was amazing.
That was the best thing in the movie. That was absolutely. That was the peak of the movie. When I was like, it's the hood, the blue, the blue sleeve and stuff, and I'm like, is this like? Honestly, the first thing I thought, is this like a Earth X, thing, or what is this?
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what costume are they using. I was trying to figure out what Cap costume that was. Yeah.
Yeah, because he even had like, it gave off that Red Skull vibe thing, like, he's become like the Red Skull became, and just like this, just that little bit was just, I was like, what is this gonna be? Then he pulls the hood down, and it's like, there's something different. Like, there's so like they really did
funny. Like, why is he acting so weird?
Yeah. And his hair was different and stuff. Yeah. I'm like, this is, and then I think I saw it just a split second before it happened. It like clicked, but whatever. It was a really good idea. I was glad I did not get spoiled for that.
Somebody came up with that. I swear, more than a year ago, I saw online somewhere. It was, I don't know whether it was a tweet that went viral. It was something on Reddit or something that somebody put, the greatest thing would be to get Chris Evans back and make us think it's Cap, and then to have him yell "Flame on!" Like, I know I read those words because I thought that would be amazing. That would be the greatest thing. And then they did it, and it was. Hooray.
They were right. That person's a billionaire now. Yeah, that, and I mean, the moments that really got me, when they all walked in, I liked to see him. Blade was cool. Wesley Snipes. It was like, you see Elektra, and it's like 3 seconds later or something, he walks out. Well, oh, okay, whoa. That's awesome. That just got me, and some of the poses they did, just the two of them were awesome, but when he put on the mask, that was amazing. Like when you realize he's had that mask back there the whole time and pulls it over him, it's like, that was badass. That looked so good.
But it looks so good, like, and for 20 years, they have argued, it'll look stupid. It's like,
can't do it.
Gosh.
And they even lampshaded it of saying like, we were too embarrassed to be in a comic book movie and wear the costumes. No, this is what you should have been doing the whole time.
Right. Oh, that was a very great.
Yeah, it got me, towards that when we were seeing all the old villains and stuff come back, and like the Fantastic car, the Red Skull's car being in there. And I was just, that kind of got me too. And I was just like, that's so cool. Right. Like, just flying down through the desert. And I was like, all right.
Just because I don't want to forget it, my favorite line in the movie that I could think of off the top of my head, it just caught me so funny, was, do you know the Avengers invented shawarma? Like, because it just diffused. I like because it would make references. It would make references. It's like, oh yeah, reference. He's like, you want to go get some shawarma? It's like, yeah, I could eat. I'm like, okay, yeah, great reference. But when he said, then he shows him eating, he's like, did you know the Avengers invented shrimp? I was like, that was probably my favorite line of the whole movie. I laughed out loud. Oh, honestly,
The
and just to say,
proposal.
like,
That's
the
how you do a
whole
reference.
the whole just watching the crowd enjoy it was good. Like, yeah, there's always some weird nerds laughing, some like the whole time, but I had a good time just being there, everybody having a good time and enjoying it. Like, nobody was chomping popcorn. They were just enjoying it. They'd clap here or there and stuff. Like, it was good.
Just the entire
I like
silliness
that
of those two. You know, it's a buddy cop film in a lot of ways, but those two just absolutely murdering each other the entire movie, like it never really.
Yeah, it's
stops.
the fact. I mean, you know, there obviously that's the whole point. They can't kill each other, you know,
Right.
whatever. But honestly, it just only goes so far. It's cool and everything, but that's not. I don't know. It doesn't. That doesn't excite me for very long. You stab each other 100 million times. It's like, that's not what I was there for.
Well, I think I was probably the nerd laughing when they did the montage
Yes.
thing.
Even I got that.
Yeah,
The references.
That was so good. They did comic accurate Wolverine, a little 5 foot tall hairy guy,
Right.
which
Yeah,
kicked
that
it
was
off,
good.
and I was rolling in my seat already. We had Patch, the gambler,
Yeah.
and Madripoor in the white tuxedo.
Oh yeah, from the Frank Miller series.
right, his alter ego as the suave gambler. Old man Logan on the porch, and that
Yeah.
Clint Eastwood looking guy being crucified on the giant X, like
Oh,
the cover
yeah.
of Uncanny
I have that cover.
251.
Have that cover signed by Claremont.
Nice classic cover. The classic John Byrne brown and tan costume.
Yeah.
And something I never thought I would see on screen was the Age of Apocalypse version, the one-handed
I
Wolverine
know
with
the
the wild
yeah.
hair.
Hair. That was awesome.
That's great. Like, Deadpool allows us to do this stuff. Like, it just fits so well. It's fan service. That's all it is. The scene didn't mean anything. It didn't go anywhere, but it was joy. It was pure joy. That whole
Well,
thing.
they had to decide: are we going to have a story that makes any sense, or are we just going to show these people the stuff they want to see? They wanted to see this.
Yeah.
We showed it. You wanted to see the Hulk, reflect in the blades, and we got. It's good.
Yeah, I was completely satisfied with this film. I don't know how many times I'll sit down and watch it, or how it'll age with me. But I mean, as a first time watch, I mean, it
I
felt
could see
like
in a few months I watch it again because I'm sure I missed some stuff, but there was a ton. I just can't off the top of my head remember all the lines, but there was 100 times I laughed at some reference.
The references to this point where the current perception of the MCU is, and with the multiverse stuff.
You're coming in at
just picking fun
at
at
a low
it.
point. I like that. You're coming in at a low point.
Yeah, that was another thing I was a little worried about. Like, all this talk beforehand, all this movie that's going to save the MCU. Okay, maybe box office wise, it's going to be a hit again, and we're going to revive people's interest or whatever. But like, I was worried the plot was going to try to, this is what's going to integrate the X-Men into the Marvel.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't need, like, I don't need that. And this movie shouldn't be the one to do it. But I think people were kind of hanging their hat on, this is the one. This is going to bridge the Fox world and the Marvel world and make everything make sense now in the multiverse. It's like, nah, don't expect that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we still don't know who played Lady Deadpool, correct? If it was just a no name stunt woman.
Yeah. Wasn't it Blake Lively?
It's right.
Was Blake Lively?
Was she credited?
At least at the voice. Yeah.
Okay. Without the mask coming off, I was.
We had Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah.
I got a whole list of cameos if you wanted to go over all the cameos.
Sure. Oh, first off, we do need to talk about Gambit for a second. Like, so he like intended on playing that character, you know,
For
obviously
years.
at one point, and you know, I feel like
he was born in the void. He was born in the void.
Yeah, he's like I think I was born in the void. Yeah, it's like he said like 10 things in reference to the fact that he was never been in anything before. But just that voice, the accent just cracked me up, and the fact that it was obviously how he was going to do it.
Yeah.
If he had ever done it, like every bit of what he was doing was what it would have been, and it was kind of good. Like, like they did it. The action was good. Like they did. That's what put it a little over for me, was like it's easy to write down, oh, it's be funny, we'll have this cameo and this cameo, but then to take the cameo and do it like you would do it in a regular, like go for it, that was nice. Like I was really impressed with the Gambit action and stuff.
Well, that might have been my favorite line, was who's your vocal coach, the Minions?
Yeah, that got a big whale in the theater.
But yeah, so
I was like, oh yeah, you people laughing, you didn't go see Minions. Yeah. I did have that number one in the movie wager. Yeah, I thought you people never heard of them.
Tried to tell you.
So yeah, especially the Gambit thing. This is what connected so much with me.
Stop. He tried to tell me every time that the Minions or Despicable Me movie has went up against a Pixar movie, it has won until this year.
Not this year.
Don't tell me anything. You can't tell me anything.
They weren't Inside Out.
Every time. Every single time.
So that, and like the end credits, we got all the behind the scenes footage from 25 years ago. Crazy. And like this Gambit stuff. This is kind of what connected with me beyond the silliness and the humor and the zany violence and all that stuff, was for the fans like me who have been there for literally 25 years lining up and watching these movies. I saw X-Men in the year 2000.
Oh, yeah.
Excited as all get out as an X-Men fan as a kid. Like, I've lived with these movies, and not just the movies, but all the other stuff. Disney buying Fox, all the behind-the-scenes rumors, all the casting, the stuff between the movies that we entertain ourselves with. Did you hear Channing Tatum's trying to get a Gambit movie off the ground? And like there'd be press releases, and we'd be talking about the rumors. Oh, well, they're pushing this one, and they're not putting this guy, and they're gonna, this guy's gonna have a cameo in this movie. Like all that stuff is part of the experience too, and that hit me of like, yeah, Gambit somewhere in the multiverse, he's got a chance too. Like let him have his moment. Like all the other stuff. And yeah, I said the Fox, them, getting annoyed with Fox of missed opportunities or stuff that Disney has done that Fox wasn't able to do, or all that stuff. Like that to me is part of it too. Beyond these 30-some movies that we've all watched, we've lived the behind-the-scenes drama as well. And so to be able to touch on even that,
there's
even some nostalgia for that.
It's clearly got movie, obviously movie people make movies, so they want to insert all the movie stuff that was going on behind this, that kind of stories are like, hey, yeah, this was really important, so let's put that in there too.
And Blade, there's only one Blade. We've had this Blade, for 5 years. Is there going to be a Blade movie or not? I even rewatched Elektra. I rewatched all the X-Men movies over the past couple months. I rewatched Daredevil, Elektra, Ghost Rider. I was trying to watch all the Fox movies too. And like, even that movie's not terrible for the time it was. So like, Jennifer Garner probably doesn't deserve, I'm sure she took a lot of lumps from critics. And so, give her one more shot at it. Let her spin those size around. Like that's cool. That's, that's fandom. We hate the Star Wars prequels until 20 years later. Now we love them again. Like everything's a cycle. Everything is ups and downs. And I don't know, fans, nothing ever disappears forever. Like someone was a kid when they watched it and are going to have warm memories about it, and it's going to come back around. So just that kind of angle of this movie, I said, beyond the meta-ness and the main thrust of it. There was all this kind of underneath feelings I was.
Okay, so are we building up to when is this scene going to happen where Thor's cradling Deadpool? What future movie? You know it's going to happen.
Are these people all coming
maybe
back for
Secret Wars?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's for. I was like, wow, they're definitely going to do that. Thought that was pretty neat.
All right, so here's my list of cameos that I was able to ascertain. We'll just go through real quick. We had the Hunter B-15 from Loki. She was in there at the end. Jon Favreau as Happy Hogan, which I didn't quite get. That was like a different universe, or that was or that was 616, or that was the Sacred Timeline. Like Deadpool's not from that universe, but he went. I didn't quite get why he wanted to be an Avenger in a different universe. Are there no Avengers in his own universe? Was that the idea? I don't know.
Huh?
You guys look blank.
Yeah, I'm not understanding what you're saying. What? How was he wanting?
His
to do
whole
it in a
thing was
different
about
timeline?
saving his own universe. And at the beginning, he goes to 616 to interview with Happy Hogan. And he's like, I want to be an Avenger so bad. So I don't know, was he going to leave his own universe or what?
Oh,
yeah, I didn't quite get it.
I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah. We had Chris Hemsworth from their archival footage from the Dark World. They snuck him in there, which is the biggest hanging plot point. We're all going to demand that scene. It might take 10 years to get to it. We'll see.
Right.
We had Hulk show up. Apparently, a couple people from Wrexham were in there from the football club.
Oh yeah.
That Rob and Ryan own.
Well, I remember. Well, yeah, on the show or what, or maybe it was. I think on the show they showed something about him going over there and being in it, but I think it got cut. McElhaney got cut
Rob
out.
McElhaney is a TVA soldier. Ollie Palmer was somebody at the bar. He's one of the football players. And then there was, along the Deadpool variants, there was one with the Wrexham logo, and that was Paul Mullen, the football player. So they
Super Paul Mullen.
Super Paul Mullen. We had, let's see, Tyler Mane was back as Sabretooth, and Ray Park as Toad from the original X-Men movies. Aaron Stanford as Pyro from X2. Kelly Hu as Lady Deathstrike from X2. Dania Ramirez as Callisto from X-Men The Last Stand. Jason Fleming as Azazel from X-Men First Class, the red guy who bamped. And then there were some just background characters almost. We got a Juggernaut. They had asked Vinnie Jones to reprise his role, and he just didn't want to, so we had a different Juggernaut. There was a Psylocke, a Bullseye, the Russian, the guy in the red and white shirt, was from he was a villain in the Punisher movies.
I assumed that was the same actor. He just had a beard.
Yeah. Billy Clements. Yeah, I'm not sure. And then the Deadpool variants, Blake Lively as Lady Deadpool, Matthew McConaughey as the Cowboy Deadpool, Nathan Fillion as the voice of Headpool, and then Reynolds and Lively's children were Kidpool and Babypool, so they even had their kids dressed up. And then we got Henry Cavill as a Wolverine variant, but no T.J. Miller as Weasel, he did not return, and no Taylor Swift as Dazzler, as people were hoping.
Yeah.
They're saving that one.
So what more could you want? Like what did they leave out? Like
that Henry Cavill one was pretty good. Like that got me. I did not expect that, and it took me a second. I was like, okay, that's pretty good.
Which again is a fan thing.
Yeah.
The X-Men are coming into the MCU. We need a new Wolverine. He's been the top of fans' wish list. They want him to be Wolverine. So
yeah, I don't like that casting.
They gave the people.
I don't either.
I was like, eh. Yep. I don't know. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. got to kick a guy out of my seat. I liked all the flashbacks during the credits to the old X movies. I told Nick when we went in, I was like, I'm gonna like this better than you because you will not know any of these references. He's like, I've seen a bunch of these movies. I was like, not these movies.
Yeah.
Like he never saw the first 3 X-Men movies.
Oh wow.
He's like, the first one he saw was First Class. He said, and he never saw any of the '90s stuff either. So he's just like, didn't know nothing.
Yeah,
but
and that's what we were talking about on the drive home with my nephew. It's like you weren't even born when these movies started coming out. Like it's generational. Like it's crazy.
Cooper growing up, he was a huge fan as those whatever the current movie that was coming out of. So the Fantastic Four movies we watched a million times. Daredevil we watched a million times with Ben Affleck. The old X-Men movies. I mean, all of that stuff was like perfect timing for him. So I don't know if he's seen it yet. I haven't talked to him, but I almost texted him today and I was like, no, I'm not going to spoil anything for him. I'm just going to wait and when, till after he sees it. But yeah, the whole time I was watching it, I was just like, he is going to love this movie with all these references because this is exactly what he grew up with until, Iron Man came out in 2008 or whatever. Well, he was already, 8-9 years old by that point. So he had watched at home on DVD. I remember we still have all those movies.
So yeah, in some way, and we always talk about Endgame wrapped up 10 years worth of storytelling and was a payoff to this 10 years of stuff. Well, there's something about the 25 years of these Fox movies and all this stuff, these X movies we followed for a very long time. It doesn't quite put the perfect cap on it, but it at least looks back and celebrates this strange quarter of a century we've all been lining up to go to these movies.
Yeah, there was definitely for me some closure there, one way or another. Like it was nice to not just ignore those movies and like, we've moved on, forget about those, they don't exist. Like it was nice for them to reference all of that and the history of it. And yeah, I totally agree. Like, yeah, good on them. Anybody going to rush out and buy one of them ugly dogs?
No.
I'm good.
All
right, so that's that. Any other final thoughts before we go?
I have seen over in the speaking of Disney parks, over at Disney's California Adventure, as well as Disneyland Paris, I've seen they have a walk around Deadpool character already. I think in California they had a Deadpool and a Wolverine in the suit with the mask already meeting guests in the park, which I thought was kind of cool. Like, yeah, let's be current and do cool
Kids
stuff.
like baby knife and stabbing them in the legs.
Right. Every guest.
Everyone gets a poke out of it. So yeah, I want Deadpool to return. I'm sure he will. I don't want him to be in the Avengers. I don't even really want him to be in the X-Men. I think he needs to be his own separate sort of thing. I don't know. Even in the comic books, he doesn't always work as a team player because it doesn't quite, his reality is not quite on par with everyone else's. So I'd like more Deadpool. I don't know that I need big team up movies like this anymore, but yeah.
I would like to, like, I agree with everything you just said, and I never even thought about it really until now. But the idea of if they could make it work someday, because they, to them, this was an arc or something. Whenever they have like 3 movies, they even they're in the credits and stuff. They're just like trying to act like this. Look at this journey we've been on since he even thought about wanting to be Deadpool, and now this. But like this arc is not complete. To me, I think he has to someday get where Logan is, and I could see a like movie where he's older and less hyper, less jokey. Still has that, like, still is that guy in the group, but has like whatever their mission they're on or something is something serious that is important to him. I don't even, I'm just spitballing here. Where it's like a grisly thing, like it's an end game type thing where it's very serious and people could die and stuff, and and him like being a part of that.
He does a run in.
I think would be really cool. Like,
yeah.
No, I mean, I like when I could see like a Secret Avengers type thing, where they have like a ragtag group of assassin type characters or something. They did that. They had a comic series, Secret Avengers and stuff, and it was like Spider-Man and Cap and Black Widow and things like that. I could see Deadpool being someone in a group like that and doing some serious thing, and he only got to be a limited amount of jokey. But maybe it wouldn't work. I don't know. I'm interested. I want to see that.
A couple of articles I saw this week was they're saying Hugh Jackman was done after Logan. He had planned to retire. This was never in his mind. But they said he was out on a drive or something and was just thinking this would really work. I'd really love to work with Ryan Reynolds. He spent 2 movies joking about wanting to team up with me. And, he kind of talked himself into it and just called Ryan before he even talked to his agent. So it was like, let's do this movie. But then he had to call his agent and be like, hey, I signed up for a movie. So it was
awesome.
But he talked to James Mangold and explained, basically, trying to explain to him, Logan is the end of this character. We're not going to stomp on its legacy. So he was at least thoughtful to the fans and the creators of that movie, that he wasn't just like, psych, I'll be Wolverine again. And then the other article I saw was Ryan Reynolds had the idea. He tried to pitch this as a secret movie. Did you hear about this? He wanted to release it as a movie called Alpha Cop.
Yeah.
As like an intentionally bad movie of him. It was like 2 people who share a brain who become the world's best cop or something. And 10 minutes in, you realize it's actually a Deadpool movie. He wanted to try to release this Deadpool movie without people knowing it was a Deadpool movie. And I'm sure everyone in Marvel's like, no, we'll never do that in a million years. No. Thanks for trying.
The biggest twist of this multiverse was I sent you guys a screenshot. There were so many different multiverse characters. Even the clone of my dead mother Facebook friended me right when I was sitting in the previews. Pretty amazing. But I was like, wow, this is immersive.
Facebook.
Multiverse.
Facebook wins it,
yeah. What universe was that?
Is that what AR things? Augmented. 5DX.
So I think KPP gives it 10 fingers and 10 toes. The old classic rating.
That's an oldie.
I don't know about that.
What happened to that guy?
That's a lot.
What universe is he in?
So we liked it. We hope you did too. We hope you love all these excursions into the multiverse. All these comic book movies. We try to just enjoy them.
Did you? Cut you off here. Did you?
Please, I didn't know I didn't know how I was going to finish.
Yeah.
What?
Did you watch it? Did you watch any Loki?
I watched it when it. I didn't rewatch it.
Most of this movie.
Yeah, I watched it as it came out, but I didn't rewatch it.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember whether you had watched it at all. Yeah, I was like, wow, all those people. Anyone that didn't watch that, probably thinks they're probably like, I didn't understand this time stuff because I didn't watch that show. I'm here to tell you. I watched that show, and this was nonsense.
Even that, they tried to help. Like, this was a rogue branch of the TVA. This wasn't the main. They were on their own mission. So, even this doesn't screw up anything from the Loki show. I think they're very careful not to step on anyone else's toe. To make fun of everything, but to not ruin anything that's come before it. So even that was at least careful. Alrighty, there you have it. That's our review of Deadpool and Wolverine from 2024. And that's it. That's our show. We'll be back with more. And we'll see you later. Goodbye. My name is Jordan Lowe.
Cliff Barnes.
It's never signed off like that. And that's our show.
Ever.
And we'll see you later.
Ever.
And goodbye.
I was racking my brain for a clever Deadpool-esque witty repartee, and I ain't got it.
Oh my gosh.
I'm no Reinhold Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
Reinhold Reynolds.
You want to go get a shawarma? You want to go get a shawarma?
Goodbye forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast, can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the pop cultured podcast at gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, join our Patreon at patreon.com/udownwithkpp for special content and access to Patreon-only benefits. We are grateful for anyone who chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will remain free. So please continue to like, comment, and share.